Summer is on its way out and winter is coming. What better time than now to get back to or start fresh playing WoW TBC PvP. Hi, I'm Baba, I'm retail merciless glad on both Rogue and Priest with a max rating shy of 2.6k. I have played every class and spec throughout Vanilla, TBC and Lich King. I'm streaming daily, I make PvP content and I'm not chasing rank 1 anymore. I'm just here to enjoy the game, share my XP and help you get better. So if you haven't done so, do like hundreds before and sub, like and comment. Maybe your comment is gonna get pinned, such as: your warrior is so fucking good, I had to watch it so many times. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, you taught me how to beat the teams in my pool and we got rank 1 because of you. No problem buddy, I got you. Every time I get you on my team, we lose and I win if facing you. You're welcome. Bro, you got some serious injuries mental wise. Yes, thank you very much. Gay. Very appreciated. And one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite, brown Indian man. This video is not affiliated with Warmane in any shape, way or form. Before we start, Warmane has its own lingo, its own language. One word rules above all. It's dog. It can mean an insult, a compliment, or literally anything. I too like to use it in my own way. So welcome my little doggies. Sit, stay, and let's learn together. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and even on TikTok. And yes, I do have all the socials and post daily on Instagram. So before we talk about Blackrock, let's talk about Warmane, and in particular the history of Warmane. As this very account that I am logged in right now is actually 10 years old. So Warmane has been around for a while and they've been doing a pretty good job. I've played Warmane in Rough, TBC and I think even Vanillas. And anytime I hear about them, it's only positive stuff. Most of you might have noticed them when there was like a huge hype for Rough came out a few good years ago. And yeah, ever since then, people just love the server and stayed. I myself, as I said, been coming here on and off and always enjoyed my experience. This year Warmane released a server called Blackrock. Not only Blackrock but also its counterpart Onyxia. Counterpart only in terms of being a PvE realm, where Blackrock itself is a full-on PvP realm. That means that every item in the game is achievable through PvP gameplay only. You do not have to do any PvE at all. In fact, you cannot do any PvE on Blackrock because the NPCs and mobs are not loaded. My PvP only dogs are gonna love this next fact the most. Blackrock is a instant level 70 server. That means you will be level 70 upon creating your character and also are getting all your max rank spells, bags, consumables, everything for free. There is extra consumes which you can pay extra honor for, but you can only use that in BGs. And we're gonna go through all the NPCs later anyways. Blackrock's European population is of course multiple times higher than North American population, but it's still playable. I myself have been in bed around 12 PM my time most of the times, but sometimes I would keep playing up until 1 or 2 AM and I would still get queues. Yes, the queues would have sometimes taken up to 10 minutes, but it's all okay. That's like really at the most. And for synchronicity's sake, when I speak about 12 PM my time, that's of course Central Europe time. So yeah. Remember how I mentioned Onyxia? Our family-friendly Christian neighbor? Well, we're actually at war with them. We, us Blackrockians, we're actually at war with the Onyxians. And you will get to know about it as soon as you enter a battleground. Yeah, besides doggy, people are calling each other very Now, if you're asking me, I feel like all of this has went a little bit too far. All of this hate and racism. I just cannot fathom how people are getting so much into that crap, and I just really want to make a statement and I'm just gonna say it now. I feel like racism is a crime and crime is for Onyxians. Next topic. So much for Warmane 101. I think you get a good idea now of why people would call it a perfect PvP server. As if you are a true PvP doji, you're gonna really like the aspect of not having to do any PvE at all, since all the PvE or like social aspects of PvE are taken out of the game. Random dog fact number 1. Stress sniffers. Dogs can smell stress by detecting cortisol in sweat and breath. Same in SoloQ. You can smell the tilted teammate before the gate even opened. And it's always your healer. Alrighty, so how to get started. Head over to warmane.com. Once you click on the downloads tab, on the right hand side you can see a tutorial guiding you through all and everything you need to do step by step. And we are playing TBC, yes, but we are actually playing on a Wrath of the Lich King client. Wow, such technology. And so what you're gonna wanna do the first time you log in after everything is set up, you click on Blackrock PvP-only. It's gonna lead you to this screen, which is obviously Wrath of the Lich King. You're gonna wanna click on switch to TBC over here. And once you do that, you're gonna be able to create your TBC character for the TBC game on a Wrath of the Lich King client. Amazing. You can see I have played a bunch of stuff already. I have a character for each class. I'm all horde. I got trollers on 4 of them. And I'm gonna leave you a link in the description or somewhere here. It's gonna pop up where you can see me play all of them. Do not freak out when you see my UI for the first time. This is the Burning Crusade. I'm just using anything else but Blizzard frames to make it look like it does. You can do the same thing by using add-ons, which of course are over here, just handled as anything as any other expansion. I'm gonna leave links in the description as well to sites where you can get add-ons. You're obviously gonna need Wrath of the Lich King ones. And a guide to also my UIs and macros, all this stuff we're gonna touch upon later as well. I'm gonna leave in the comments or description. Let's create our fresh and new characters. So in my case it's gonna be a little shamani free use Hue cow, and we're gonna call her little doji. Wonderful. So I'm gonna disable all the add-ons for her. And this is how it looks like when you log in for the first time. So you're gonna spawn in the Tomb of Lights. There's nowhere else to go but forward, right to this friendly looking fella. He's gonna give us an option to choose in between 3 specs. So we are shaman, we can choose in between 3 specs that could work in arena. Let's say you're a warrior, you come over here and you're like, excuse me, where is my protection PvP spec? Bad doggy. There is none of that. So people over here, they like if you play competitive stuff, competitive specs, real specs, or so-called meta specs. So in my case, let's just pick elemental here, which I would advise you not to do if you have no gear. Mind you, we are currently in season 3. Season 3 is ending from the release of this video within the next 3 or 4 days this coming week. Okay, so we have created a character and chosen our favorite spec. Now what we see is exactly this. This is how it looks like without any add-ons. I have not talked to anybody, I have not done anything. We just talked to the goblin and now we are here. Let's take a look at our bags. I'm just gonna remove my can real quick. So we have a hearthstone in case you get lost, of course, and then we have some food here that does nothing for us. This is level 1 food, it does not get removed. And then we have this level 1 gear, which does get swapped out for the gear that we've gotten from the vendor. It is just a standard season 1 gear. So in case you never have played Wrath of the Lich King and you only are used to the mount system in TBC, this is how the new system is going to be working. You're going to have the mount and fly mount. The ground and fly mount in your bags. You're going to right click them once and in your character it's going to pop up the pets tab, and then you can just pull them wherever you want them. And the first thing you should do, I suppose, is get on one of your mounts so you are able to move faster in between all these NPCs that we're going to talk about. Alrighty, so let's see. So in terms of the gear, we have gotten gear provided by the server, which they deem to be good for elemental. And as you can see, it is season 1 gear. Another thing I want to show just real quick is that we have 20k gold on spawn. You also can just create as many characters as you want and send over the 20k gold which you get with any character that you create. Send it over to whatever character you want and basically have infinite amount of gold. Reason is gold is worth nothing here and you're always gonna be having enough to spend it on vendors for respecs and whatnot. So before continuing with gearing and progression, let's check out all the different NPCs and zones that this server has to offer. We are in Shattrath, of course, next to our Duel, which is called Transporter over here. And most of the stuff is getting done here for sure, but there are zones where people are lurking. We're gonna check everything out in just a second. We have a row of little friends over here. over there and here. So we're just gonna start here. I'm gonna go briefly above all of them. And the first NPC is where you can pick up all the daily quests. You can also get a weekly quest from this guy. He's not showing it to me right now because it is not the time, and also I have not unlocked it yet. There's a few stuff we have to unlock. We're gonna come to it. First quest that we see is called Couple Time, and it's achieve victory in 10 games in 2v2 arena. Again, you can do this every day, so once you have finished it, next day you can take it again. I'm not sure when it resets. I think it is at 5 AM Central Europe time. Do not quote me on that. Second quest is Alone Together, which is again 10 victories, this time though in SoloQ. We're gonna talk about SoloQ of course as well. And then we have another one for 3v3. Oh, by the way, yeah, this is 5k honor, 5k honor, and this gives you 10k honor as a reward. And then we have another bonus here for people who are healing. So if you're queuing as a healer, I think though it's only for SoloQ. Yep, it is for SoloQ, Duel Q, which yeah, you can queue in the SoloQ as a duo, and then it's gonna just find one random. I'm gonna go into it. So this much for this guy, and then let's start over here. So this little friend gives us the option to change a player. I must admit I have not used this yet, but I think it's you can just one-on-one somebody and people could watch it via here because this is an observer. We're gonna come to him as well. Next one, you can create arena teams here and also disband them, of course. And then we have the SoloQ, which I just touched upon. So I can currently not enter the SoloQ because I am completely fresh. In order to join the SoloQ, I must have won 3 battlegrounds. Once I have done that, I am able to queue for the SoloQ. SoloQ is very nice. It's like my most played thing. I love it the most. It is always in this constellation of 1 healer and 2 DPS. If you queue as a healer, you're gonna get 2 people extra that you might not know. Fully random, or you queue with 1 and then you get 1 extra random DPS. If you queue as a DPS, you're gonna get 1 healer and 1 DPS as random teammates. And then on this one, we have the standard 2s, 3s, and 5s. And on the last, the most awesome function over here, we can actually spectate games. We can spectate by 2s, 3s, 5s, SoloQ. We can spectate by player name, by match ID. We can look for replays by the name. Whenever you enter an arena match, in the bottom right or bottom left, wherever your chat is, you're gonna have a game ID. You can copy that and check out the game afterwards. It's amazing. And then we have the top replays, of course, as well. So yeah, a lot of people are just hugging this guy forever, just watching the games. And it is a very, very nice function. You can have add-ons as well that just improve your experience of watching them as well. Amazing. Let's head over here. So this is gonna be starting the gearing section, and then over here in the enchants and gaming section. But if you see over here, this guy actually gives us quests for reputation. Again, even if it's reputation stuff or a PvE element, everything is reachable through PvP only, and you don't have to do any PvE. So in order to, for example, get faction reputation in order to get an head enchant, you might check out which one of these. For example, we are now an elemental shaman, so if I can remember correctly, it is the Shattrath stuff, which we can get through Botanica, Mechana, and Arcatraz. And then he's asking us to give him 5 marks of honor from Eye of the Storm. Once we give him that, we can gather the reputation with the Shattrath. Once we get enough reputation, we unlock the head enchant, which also is one thing I would put in the prior list. I think at the number 1, just to get the head enchant out of the way, because other than that, there is no other head enchant, and you want all of the gear to be enchanted. And then next we have the talent guy, so you can check if you have all the stuff max rank. I would advise also doing that as well, especially if you're Warlock. I think my Warlock's pet was not fully maxed out. There's also Grimoires, you can buy them and check if you have the max talents. You can respec, of course, and go for your protection PvP spec, which I would not advise. You can learn a duel spec, which I would just immediately get. As I said, gold is not an issue, and then you can respec and stuff, and have access to duel spec as well. Very, very nice. And next goblin over here is packed with items from earlier seasons and PvE gear from earlier seasons. So you have here free season 1 gear, as well as access to tier 4 set, absolutely free. You don't have to spend anything. And then another tab for weapons, and then yeah, for different kind of armors, up until you can choose jewelries and yeah, random trinkets. And yes, you can get Dragonspine trophy, and yes, for some characters it's very much a very good item, even in arena and not only in PvP. So if you're watching this and you're from Onyxia, I know the pain not getting it after 1 million gruels having to fight. But next NPC here gives us a little better PvP item. So we have the mid-tier PvP and the top-tier PvP. If we click into the top tier, you can see all the current season 3 stuff, which we have none of it unlocked because it is hidden behind a rating that we need to get. So in the case, of course, of this shield, for example, that I wanted if I was a shaman, if I was a elemental shaman, this one, for example, 1850 rating I need to get first in whatever kind of bracket, and then yeah, I could buy the shield. And the points that I have to spend for this are arena points. Arena points do reset every Wednesday, I think also at 5 AM Central Europe time. Do not quote me on that, it's definitely in the morning when I'm still asleep. But yeah, you can see here is all the good stuff. So season 3, and then the mid tier is considered to be the season 2 gear, which obviously is gonna be on a little bit of a discount. And yeah, no financial advice, but I would just go for the season 3 gear instead of the season 2. Do not waste time, do not spend your points, but you can do whatever you want with your points. Another thing that might change in the future is that the mid tier is gonna be season 3, and then the top tier is gonna be season 4 starting next week with the new season. Yeah, most likely the case. And weekly as well, you're gonna have a system for reputation, which I find really nice. Also, it's the keys and reputation and all in one. So basically, once I click this and just gather all the keys that I'm getting here, this is a little bit complicated. I needed a few people to explain this to me, but I'm just gonna show you how this works. So once a week you get a key, and once you pick up the key you also get the reputation, and then you can use this key to open chests. Let's say I have a Temple's Desecrated Spoils key over here. I hope you can see it. Yep. That means this is the key for Black Temple. And right now I have unlocked, or I don't need to unlock, the first chest is giving you for without any arena rating that you need to achieve. If I had 5k honor that I would have gotten from winning 10 games in 2v2, for example, or winning the daily random battleground, which also yields you 5k honor, I would be able to spend my one key that I've gotten, which I also, to mention again, get every Wednesday for a reset, just like you would in a PvE situation or environment where the content would reset once a week. And then I have the chance to spend that 5k, get the chest, which is full of, in this case, trash loot. Not trash as in bad, but in Black Temple there is trash mobs, and this chest contains all the drops that these trash mobs carry. Now, once I would have spent a key, within this box there would have been a key for the second box, and you're gonna go in order like this: left to right and then down, left to right and then down. So whenever I achieve 1500 rating in any bracket, as I said, I would be able, and gotten another 5k honor, I would be able to spend it for this chest now. And in this chest I would be able to go for items. Oh, I don't have the Atlas loot now, but just picture the Atlas loot table from Nagrand, and then you would be able to get items from Nagrand. And I have to add, it's always one item. There is a chance that you get gems as well randomly, and recipes also are able to drop with much less drop chance, of course, but one item definitely from the boss is gonna drop, just like your raid environment. And this is where the parallel comes to the PvE server, and I really much like the way that this is basically solved. So you have to have a little bit higher rating to get to the higher bosses. Obviously, once you go from left to right and then higher and higher, basically in the chests, up until Illidan, where you're gonna need a rating of 1850, you can open this chest for 10k honor after having opened all the other chests, basically after having defeated all the other bosses in front of him, and then you're able to get Illidan loot. And yes, you can also get a Warglaive. The Warglaive has a very low drop chance. I hope all of this makes sense. I know it can be a little too much and overwhelming at first, but if you have any more questions after watching this video for 10 times even, come to my stream in between the games, just ask me the questions. I'm gonna try my best to explain you, no problem. And then the last goblin we have over here is the one that we have seen in the Tomb of Light, and he has gotten a place next to his brothers here, being able to give us another spec if we so wanted. So in case you wonder what it would look like, I could just press on restoration right now. It would teleport me to the start and equip me with all the what the game deems to be best items for restoration, starter gear, and equip it. Every piece that I had before would have been placed in my bags, and this is how it looks. And let me just remove my camera real quick so you can see we have the keys in here and all the items that we had on us before. That was the elemental gear, and yeah, now we are equipped with the restoration gear. So the way this is gonna work once season 4 hits and you already have created your character and been given season 1 gear is you just go over here with your season 1 gear and you select the same spec you want it on. Your season 1 gear most likely is gonna be placed in your bags, and then you're gonna be equipped with the newest standard lowest gear, which is gonna be season 2. This process also of course is gonna respec you, so you can see now I am a resto with a few points in here. If I didn't mention it before, I'm just gonna leave a few websites of where you can get other specs or better specs, and you do not have to play the specs that are provided by the game. Once again, just letting you know. Moving on to the last row of little friends. These are gonna take care of our enchants and gems and consumables. You can see here on the first goblin we have all kinds of class consumables. Everything is for free of course, as well as bags and potions. And then if you click more to the right, you can see that we have consumables that you can spend honor on. So not worry, you cannot use these in arena. These are for Battleground only, and if you have every piece of equip and you do not know where to go with your honor, because honor is capped at 75k, you can just spend it for these consumables and be the king in any BG. So we have the gems, which are the low ones are of course for free, as it should be, and then for the better ones you're gonna have to pay a little bit more. With season 3 out now, there is also epic gems. These are not in this vendor. I do not know if in season 4 they're gonna be in this vendor. You might have to have like a different system of like getting and cutting them. So far it has been only a drop from Black Temple or Mount Hyjal. Way more in Black Temple for myself than in Hyjal. I can't even remember the last time I got a gem from Hyjal. An uncut one, by the way, I must say. And then you have to find a JC who has dropped one of the recipes that drop randomly, and then these persons are cutting it for you. With a season 4 release it might be different. I'm gonna update it for sure. I'm gonna let you know. But you can see there is like all kinds of gems, and then also the meta gems, which are a little bit more pricey. For everything you're gonna be paying honor. Basically for everything is paid in honor. Everything besides the most recent and last season arena PvP set. Alright, so next NPC is taking care of our enchants, and you can see since we are in season 3, the shoulder enchants which we had to unlock in the earlier seasons is given to us for free. You can just pick one of the shoulder enchants, as many as you want, however and anytime. And then for the other enchants, you can see here for any kind of a piece of armor you have, there is an enchant, and then for the pants, and then for the weapons, which are gonna be more expensive, and mongoose is pretty much the most expensive one. Some enchants might be missing, especially the lower ones like vanilla enchants, but yeah, people are dropping the recipes, and then you just spam the chat and you might be lucky and find somebody who can craft it for you. And then the next NPC we have over here is taking care of your professions, and I would advise you immediately starting professions. What I would always say is just go for enchanting. You click it once, bam, you are an enchanter on level 0, and then you go for engineering, for example. So now we have enchanting and engineering both on level 1, and the way you level the professions in general is just by winning arena games. Once you are high level enough, you can then craft whatever you want, like of the good stuff. The recipes are provided by the vendor. And for the materials themselves, if you click at the vendor, you can then check out the materials which you have obviously to pay for in honor. And then there is the last goblin here on the right, which just offers you any sort of mount you can try. Nothing special. And something that I have just realized while making this guide, and I have not known about it before. I do not know if I already mentioned the bank system and that there should be one. But oh my god guys, I just found the NPC. This is my 3rd month on this server, finishing the 3rd month, and I have just found the bank. I was looking before at the usual bank spots, but nope, he is actually hiding over here. So wow, we have a bank and we can actually purchase more slots. That is so good. Great stuff. Random dog pack number 2, puppy blindness. Did you know puppies are born blind, deaf and toothless? That's exactly how you look in starter gear, without any gems or enchants. Blind, deaf, toothless. Free honor. So these are all the NPCs in Shattrath. I do not know of any others, and if you do, please let me know the location of them in the comments. Let's go over to the zones, and this was Shattrath Mall. Just click on it once more to show you where it leads us. So this is the Shattrath Mall, and then we have VIP Island. Way too few people are chilling over here. You do have the goblins here to queue arena, and I do not know what else, but yeah, people are not really liking the spot, so we're just gonna check another one. The Duel Zone. Duel Zone, very large, a lot of space for duels. We can just duel somebody here to make a little presentation of how it looks like when you duel. So now all I can see is the guy I'm dueling, everybody else vanished, and not only that, but all of my cooldowns have reset. Apart from that neat feature, anything else is not so special, pretty much self-explaining. We check out the next area, which is the training dummy area. So here you have the level 70 training dummies on which you can train your rotations or practice spells, macros and whatnot. Pretty self-explanatory as well. Let's get out of here and check out the very last zone, which is the Nagrand Q place. And again, it is just another zone that is not really popular like Shattrath itself is. But yeah, people do hang out sometimes here and enjoy RP, I suppose. So while progressing through the guide, by now it is 6:30 PM Central European time for me, which I consider the start of prime time, which continues up until like 10 PM or so. And you can see the server is just getting more full and full. And also the live games which you are able to spectate are getting more and more. Before I do not touch upon this again, let me just see if everything is good here. Let's hop into a game and see how this looks like when spectating. So you're gonna be flying around. And yeah, I mentioned the add-ons that you can install to make your experience much better, but this also is working. Currently playing is AZ, Tina Toxic, Barry Balls, and Kuna. Shout out to you guys for delivering us this match. I believe you guys are top #1 currently, so yeah. If, however, you click on one of them, you get into their point of view, which I find really nice. So this guy just died, that's why we got catapulted out of him. But you get the idea. Very nice feature. So by now, my little doggies, you should be understanding of what we can get and what the NPCs can do for us. Let's talk about gearing and progressing. I'm just gonna talk about the items that I have and hopefully you remember everything I want to talk about and mention. Let's just start with the header. You can see we are missing a metagem. Metagem, of course, is very powerful, so you're gonna wanna get one. What I'm gonna touch upon now could basically make up a priority list. I'm just gonna mention what you should probably be prioritizing and how you can go over progressing. The next thing missing on our head slot is gonna be a head enchant. And in my case, since I am Resto Shaman now, remember we respec from Ele to Resto, it is an enchant called Glyph of Renewal. And to get this one, I need to unlock it by getting enough reputation with the faction Fralmar. So because I'm a pro gamer, I already know Fralmar or dungeons affiliated with Fralmar, which you're gonna have to check out over here. Ramparts, Blood Furnace, and Shattered Halls. So each of these 3 is gonna require you to get 5 Arati Basin marks, turn them in for some reputation. You can do this once a day. That means you can do all 3 of these once a day and then another set of 3 the next day, as often as you need to do until you unlock your head enchant. But of course you can do all the other enchants as well. It's just, you know, effort is big, and after all you're gonna need, I think it's 7,500 honor if you would buy all the BG marks, which you could just spend honor on the BG marks itself. So yeah, if you buy 15, it would be 7.5k honor you could spend on a day for your reputation, which then is gonna get you the head enchant. Now for a pro tip, even if you're a healer, I would suggest you going for the Glyph of Power. which you're only gonna lose 1/3 of the healing you're gonna get from the Glyph of Renewal, which is 22 compared to 35. But also you're gonna get 14 spell hit rating from the Glyph of Power, which is a little bit more than 1%. As a caster, and that includes healers, especially shamans for example, who want to Earth Shock an enemy just to interrupt the cast, or a druid for example, who does not want their cyclones to get resisted, are aiming for 3% spell hit. Melees are going for 5% hit. Now for the shoulder enchant, it has been unlocked within the former seasons. We do not have to work for it at all. We can just buy any of them and however many we want, and then for the rest of the gear, obviously we can just scroll through here and spend honor to enhance our gear. Another pro tip regarding gems: disregard all the hit caps, disregard all the primary stat attributes. All you need to go for is solid Azure Moonstone. No, do not spend your honor once you get it to get a good solid Star of Elune, but the cheap ones for the very first gear or set of gear you're gonna wear is plenty enough. The reason: people like me who just check your HP at one little glance and instantly know if you're geared or not, and not taking your gear under a microscope, are gonna be either deterred or very well pulled towards you if you are lowly geared or having less HP in that case. So what you want to do is fake having big HP and therefore being less of a prey. You want to survive long enough so you can get out your bigger cooldowns a second or third time and actually be useful. Continuing with progression, the way it's gonna look like once you have fully gemmed and enchanted your character correctly is that you're gonna notice you become more powerful, more sturdy, stronger, more HP. You will be able to carry the battleground games that you are in more often, the solo queue games, even the games where you're gonna team up with somebody and play arena with. You're always gonna notice an upgrade or a huge enchant that you're gonna get compared to the last time that you have played, because the balancing in this game is kept so tightly. You will be able to play more aggressive because you understand that you're not taking as much damage anymore, so you won't be pushed and forced into these situations where you have to use more global defensive cooldowns than aggressive ones just due to your gear being bad. Now, considering everything that I've mentioned, you're gonna find yourself being able to farm honor more consistently, just more efficiently and faster. Therefore, when playing arena, you will find yourself winning more games and climbing higher ranks, which arguably is the most important thing. Because with the high rating comes the high arena points that you get each flush, happening every Wednesday, once a week. In order to get arena points, you have to be in an arena team, whether it's 2s, 3s, 5s, or even solo queue. If you are in multiple arena teams, you will get the points from whichever team is gonna give you the most points this week. Now, most important is going to be that the team you want points from has played this week at least 10 games, and you having at least 30% of these 10 games played. So let's make an example. The team that you want points from has 10 games played. You are going to need exactly 3 games played within this team to be able to get points from that team. Another thing, you cannot be in a 5s and a solo queue team at the same time. You're gonna have to choose. Let's say you played 5s and you decide you want to stay within this 5s team, but you also want to play solo queue. I said you can't be in 2 teams at the same time. That is correct. However, what you can do is you just stay in that 5s team, you queue solo queue, and upon queuing solo queue, your 5s team will get overwritten with a solo queue team. You will start at a 0 with a 0, 0, 0 wins, 0 losses, and a 0 rating. If you leave this solo queue team and then relog and log back in, you will have your 5s team. Not only is it important then, in case your 5s team is gonna give you the most points, to have the 5s team activated, that means having deleted the solo queue before flush in order to get points, but also the personal rating that unlocks weapon and such that you might have gotten from playing 5s is getting blocked by the solo queue if you have played solo queue. One more little note before we can wrap up all the arena talk is that now you know how important it is to stay within an arena team, especially if it carries your personal rating that you need to unlock gear and weapons. If you decide to leave an arena team, that is absolutely no problem. Obviously, you're gonna lose the access to the items that you have unlocked. But once you get re-invited into that team, you will instantly get your rating back and therefore the access to all the items that you have unlocked. So switching in between teams is actually really easy and beautifully solved. Alright, so of course we have to mention Battlegrounds as well, and some of you guys have asked, how do I even queue a Battleground? Which is an absolutely legit question. If you're coming from TBC, you might know that you have to talk to an NPC in order to get into a Battleground. But since we're playing on a WotLK client, all we have to do is open the PvP window over here. My case, I could have also just pressed I. And then you will see all different battlegrounds you can queue. Now, sometimes on a weekend, there is a special event, basically on a random battleground, such as Warsong at this weekend around, where if you would finish this Warsong game and win, you would get an extra reward in form of extra bonus points, and on top of that you're gonna get arena points. And now you know arena points are only gained via arena, so this is very special. Even though it's very little, this does add up over time. And not only do you have the Warsong weekend or any other weekend that could have been, but also you have a shot for a daily random BG that you could win. So you would queue this and it would get you into a random battleground, and then if you win that battleground, you could again get more honor and on top of that arena points. When queuing a battleground, you have the option to dis or enable mercenary mode. It is a very nice feature which allows us to get battleground pops more often by lending the strength to the other faction if they are in the minority. So let's say I'm an alliance player and there is way too few horde players to pop a game. What game is going to do is it's going to place you within the horde team, so you're gonna play alongside them. Also gonna get a horde skin, however you're not gonna get their ratios, but you're gonna play on their team, and therefore it's gonna be a much more BGs popping up and people being able to play games. Wonderful. Additionally, regarding the races, I want to add that in SoloQ you can get teammates from the different faction. That means all races can be mixed. However, 2s, 3s and 5s you can only queue with your own faction. Now in SoloQ and Battlegrounds, teamwork is really everything. If somebody calls out for a strategy and nobody says a thing about it or adds to it, then that is the strategy. Do not do something else, do not go by your own, do not play the hero. You're a team and you can only win as a team. Random dog fact number 3, scent memory. Did you know dogs can remember scents for years and recognize individuals instantly? PvP players do the same. They remember the one dispel you missed 2 months ago and never let you live it down. Now to recap and add a little more to gearing and progression, you want to unlock your head enchant, and by doing that and opening the chests for the reputation, you're going to get badges of justice, which again you can turn in for more items, get all the gems and the enchants for the rest of your gear, lean a little bit more tanky unless you have an immunity like Feign, Death, Vanish or Ice Block. You might be getting away with more PvE items. The system is meant to be very ult friendly, so if you want to make an ult, make them early to be able to benefit from the weekly reset and gathering keys and reputation. And lastly, figure out your situation, which obviously is case by case and class by class. What PvP and PvE item mix is the best for you. However, if you do not have any clue of where to go about, the best thing you can do is simply talk to the endgame gear vendor and buy up all the Vindicator items until you have filled all your slots. At the end of the day, it's going to be your skill that matters the most. Your positioning, the trades you take, rotations you make. Still, the gear gap can never be neglected. In general, it is agreed that classes without an own escape mechanism or self-peel are leaning more towards stacking resilience and going for a tankier build setup. This could also include gems with resistances and making use of the 2x2 Gladiator set piece set bonus, which offers you 2x35 resilience for a total of 70 resilience. The game is gonna feel really different once you hit those milestones of 300, 350, 400 and on resilience. You're gonna feel much more tanky and able to survive a bunch more trades, being able to go through your rotations more and more. Where you would die in a warrior charge before, now you could maybe survive it and then punish the warrior for mispositioning himself due to that charge. So it is not going to be rare seeing healers, especially towards the ends of the season 3 and 4, running around upwards to 500 resilience, which is meant to be the resilience soft cap. Myself, when playing a damage dealer and a melee, I feel okay-ish starting at very least with 250 resilience. That would be maybe me playing a rogue where I know I have a bunch of escape mechanics and am able to use them, therefore not needing to trade as much and risking dying. Upwards to 350 where I would sit playing my warrior, where I'm playing a little bit more of a bruiser angle and then want to take more trades. And then the more you get into the mid-range and therefore less armor kind of class, with 400 you feel really good. And yeah, as we already mentioned, healers then up to 500. Running high resilience comes with a cost, so you're gonna have less spell damage, melee damage, mana regen, HP. So there's gonna be a balancing that you have to figure out for your own playstyle and class. You see a lot of factors are going in there. However, there are sort of best in slot lists where you can say some kind of cookie cutter if you don't know the term yet. Means just something that applies to every situation or the majority of situations where you do not have to think a lot. And in order to keep track of your gearing and upgrades, maybe I want to show you guys a little website. Again, no affiliation, no sponsoring, nothing. This is just what I'm using privately. The website is called 70upgrades.com. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. And as you can see, please just ignore the items. They are randomly shuffled together. You can use this website as a character item balance planner, and also you could simulate buffs and check out all the stats that you need to know about, and then just be able to easily work on your biz list or copy biz list or do whatever you want with it. Quick post edit, please make sure that you get the good insignia because the one you auto get is bad. Now, I do not have a script for this, but allow me to circle back just a little bit and touch upon fundamentals. I'm going to leave a link in the description of where you can find more specs than just the ones provided by the server. The best way to go about this is just to look up the spec you want to play and find a YouTube guide about it. Get familiar with and set up your macros like focus, party or arena target. Understand that abilities like dispels, mortal strike or stuns have the most impact in any game. In order to be successful in WoW PvP, in order to beat teams playing on a server designed for solely PvP players, a very competitive server, you will have to learn about positioning and a line of sight, about fighting for globals, about what tempo is, how to force enemy CDs, while at the same time conserving your own CDs to later on then get ahead with saved CDs. Nowadays, it is standard that even healers participate in killing the target by DPSing or dispelling it. But with a little bit of practice, you're gonna be able to hang with the dogs too. And to share my own experience, the first month I have played on this server, I was in sort of a dead gamer mode. I would only play 2 to 3 hours a day, and it took me around, I think a little bit more than a month to get my first character, which was my warrior, fully geared up to that point at least, where I would then be ready to chase for higher arena rating and unlock the other gear. Just to give you sort of a timeline prediction from the casual camp. Now, obviously the more you play, the faster you're gonna get there. Random dog fact number 4. Revenge pooper. Did you know dogs sometimes poop in shoes or beds out of spite? Revenge poops. Just like your SoloQ teammate. Just like your SoloQ teammate AFKing mid-game because you didn't beat him once in PvP. Equivalent of shitting in your shoes. Listen, babe. We gotta talk. The bad stuff. No, seriously, there ain't no bad stuff on Warmane Blackrock. Besides the obligatory toxicity in lower rating, you know how it is. It's... yeah, sadly that is really a thing. You could say on Blackrock it is really intense at the lower ranks. You just have to ignore it. I mean, there's always gonna be idiots, and I really don't know what to say. I cannot deny it though. Another thing that I can't really say if it's having a good or bad impact, because I cannot actually see how these guys are profiting of what they are doing. And that is that there has been a ban wave of bots. And then we were able to see in our chat that a lot of characters, a lot of accounts, excuse me, got banned by this one ban wave. Now, I was questioning at this time, where are these bots? I did not see them or did not realize that there were any, or could imagine them doing anything besides being like AFK in the arena or doing something in the arena. For what purpose though? Because you can't really buy anything. So yeah, that was a question mark for me. And of course we need to touch upon the pay to win aspect that a lot of people are mentioning, which for me absolutely does not impact any of my game, any of my enjoyment, any of anything. I can tell you the rate of exchange, I believe, you can please correct me in the comments if I am wrong, is $1 goes for 1 credit, and then you can spend these credits for certain items. For example, on a Blackrock you could spend, I think, like 20 credits on the Mind Quickening Gem, which is an item from vanilla out of Blackwing layer, if I'm correctly. It doesn't really matter. All you need to know is that you cannot get it otherwise. So if your argument is that people are winning the game because they are having the Mind Quickening Gem, then your argument is valid. However, as I said, in any of my journey, I have not come across anyone that I would be mad about having an item or not, because I myself feel like I am also able to get any item. Now, if it comes to these niche stuff like a Mind Quickening Gem, I can see where arguments are coming from. As I mentioned before, Warglaives are also a thing, and I pretty recently just played against a rogue with double Warglaives and did not think anything about it. It has become standard and you just get accustomed to it. If you feel like they do too much damage, guess what? Go for a little bit more of a tanky setup. This is the evolution of the game, and I would really want to know your guys' opinion and how you would go about it. Let's wrap this up by touching on a few of the positive community aspects of the server. So guilds are absolutely a thing. I have 9 characters and all 9 of them are in different guilds, and still it does feel like as if we are one big family and one big guild. So there is absolutely no toxicity going on within the guilds, and people are actually helping each other out, playing BGs together and arenas. And I guess the toxicity takes place during or after the matches. I myself have made amazing friends during my stay here. I am now going into the 4th month of playing and cannot wait for wintertime, where I'll be glued to my chair streaming Season 4. All in all, I gotta say I really love the server. They're doing a fantastic job, and in my opinion it is the best place for TBC PvP. But you don't have to take my word for it. I actually did some interviews, and the criteria to get into my interview was to be a player of 2K rating and have at least spent 3 months on this realm. Let me read a few for you. The first person I have asked is Kalia, and the question I have asked was, have you played private servers before? If yes, for how many years and which expansion? Second, how long are you on Blackrock and what do you like and dislike about it? Kalia answers, yes, I have played on a lot of private servers before, from WoWmania to TGC to Millennium, Warmane and others. I've mostly played TBC but also Cutter, and retail up to level 90, 100, 110 and 120. I've been on Blackrock for quite some time now, and I really like everything about it, except for 2 things. The excessive honor farming required for gear and the amount of sniping, win trading and boosting. That ruins the experience for 1.7k to 2k players who are good and trying to learn. Those players often get stuck, and I think that kills their experience. Thank you so much, Kalia, for this input. The next person I have asked was Big Adiz. Big Adiz says, I played a few vanilla private servers very casually for a few weeks total. I'm not the biggest fan of vanilla, so they have never held my interest. I've been playing on Warmane since the first week of the COVID-19 pandemic, as I was locked up at home and was missing WoW PvP. It has been like 6 years since I played WoW. My favorite things about Blackrock is that it's instant max level, F leveling, and it's relatively easy to get full biz gear, and you only have to PvP to get full biz, which is all I enjoy. One thing I dislike about Blackrock is that people can be toxic, and there can be a lot of egos since people have played for so long. This is especially true in SoloQ. If I could change one thing, better scripting. Blackrock TBC seems to have a lot of bugs that have never been fixed. Hunter traps and flare, rogue vanish, pets following rogues in stealth, etc. Thank you so much, Big Dis, for your answer. Next on the list was Spons, and Spons answered the same questions with, yes, I have. I played for a couple of years on a server, I can't remember the name of it, and it was also a TBC server. I've played on Blackrock for about 9 to 10 months. There are a lot of bugs like hitbox, damage on certain chars that are more like a rough Lich King damage. What to change is basically the things that I have mentioned, and I think it should be less of a grind with honor, etc. Since it's a pure PvP server and I don't want to use a lot of time on the boss/quest grades in Season 1. Thank you so much, Spawns, for your reply. And finally, I have asked one of my longest private server friends, Televen, asked, have you played on private servers before? Obviously yes. If yes, for how many years and which expansion? 10 plus years TBC Wrath Lich King. I asked Tele how long have you been on Blackrock and what you like and dislike about it. He says he's been there since the launch and he likes that there is virtually no grind for PvP, but a lot of grind for PvE components. And the last question I asked him was, if you could change one thing right now, what would it be? He says, I heard it will be progress into Wrath. I would keep it TBC. Thank you so much, Tele. This concludes the interviews, and shout out to you guys. You are amazing people. I am so glad that I have met you guys and can call you a friend. And I'm looking forward to more games with and against you. GG. So what do you think? Do you agree with the interviews? Do you play on Warmane Blackrock? Tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments. Random dog fact number 5. Loyalty trap. Did you know dogs stay loyal even when mistreated? That's why they have been companions for over 10,000 years. Same as Warmane players. Flamed, insulted, banned, called dog over and over again, and yet they log back in every night. Thank you so much for watching. We have reached the end of the guide. I want to part with a few words that are very dear to me. To everybody I have met on Warmane, you guys are amazing, even the haters. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And if you have not subbed yet, please do so. I'm gonna keep you guys up to date and let you know how the launch for Season 4 is gonna go down. But right now, as I am recording the video, a vendor or two are already being worked on where you can no longer see any items on them, and we are all eagerly waiting on the new items. Apropos new items, I'm going to release a video in which I'm gonna go through a bunch of the new items and talk about what kind of an impact they can have for a class getting it now in this current meta. If it's a good item at all, if it's a bad item. I want to try and find some people who are gonna join me in discussing these items. Also, you can expect more guides coming from my way. I'm gonna go into PvP mentality, meta, micro, macro. We're gonna talk about macros, of course. You guys can always check out my channel when I am live. Come by, talk to me, and I'm gonna try and answer every question the best way I can. And I'm trying to be as noob friendly as I can. Thank you so much once more. I appreciate each and every one of you, and feel free to talk to me in-game. Just know that if I am not streaming while being in-game, I am most likely working at the same time, so you might have to be waiting for an answer. This has been Baba Hulja. I am signing out. I'll see you around. A GG, thank you, bye!
Too late, that's a full stop. Fang lace with venom, heartbeat suppressed. Step through the shadow, my precision is death. Stun into silence, step into fear. Your cooldowns mean nothing, I'm already here.
I let you open, it doesn't matter. You can take eyes, but I already took yours. Count your seconds, pray for trinket. You won't hear me, but your rating's sinking.
Get the gas, count the end, stop, start, race, say you made already left.
I'm walking on flares, I step as SS. SI calls home when I climb through your death.
Shadow step, dreams vanish, reborn. Your DR's wasted, your spirit torn. You're cooled down, I bait, I break. Get out of combat, I distract, I turn.
In my offense like roulette, NG combos locked on nets. Taste my civic, so regret. Keep up the wounds, there's nothing left. Healer blinded, trinkets still on CD. DR is setting, first blood.
Into kidney. Hemo, you're dead.
I am the silence before the scream, the blade inside your dream. No light, no sound, no final plea. Only the echo of killing.